Welcome to Not Broke, Not Rich. I'm Tanner.
Nick.
We're starting this podcast because we both watch and listen to and read a lot of people, or about a lot of people that are very successful. And we want to eventually get to that point. And the main focus of it is that we think that no one else has done anything like this, where someone has come from not being successful and actually documented the way to do it and applying all these principles and little things in their life to actually get people to where they want to be.
Yeah, that was the biggest reason we wanted to do the whole thing. Everybody we watch, they all are already successful, and they're telling you how to be successful, but it's kind of hard, I guess, to believe it in a sense because they're already there. We didn't get to see all the dark days they had, the hard times they had, every struggle that they had, because all we see is just nice cars, nice houses. We're not broke, but we're not rich, but we'll never be broke, and we can never get too fucking rich. So
Yep. Never broke again, never too fucking rich.
Exactly. And what we wanted to do was take everything that these people are saying to do to be successful and just fucking do it. Do what they say, and we'll tell you guys about how it goes.
Yeah, it's that classic thing where people look at someone who is really successful and they say, well, it's easy for you to say because you're already there. Well, we're not. we're not there.
No, not at all.
But all the little things that we've learned, like I've been applying them to my life really heavily in the past little while, and it's changed so much in my life. Like my motivation, my energy, being able to actually see where I want to be, and also being like I can actually do that. Like it's not some distant thing where you're like, for instance, the other day I was looking at some houses, and I'm just getting beat trying to buy this second house for a project I want to do, and I was just thinking one day as I was driving home from work, I'm like, man, how do people buy these houses? And then it just like clicked, and it's weird and this sounds silly, but I was like, wait a minute, hold on. People actually own these houses. Like it's not just a house that was built, decades ago and it's just been sitting there waiting for that one person to become, like run into a bunch of money and buy the house. Like someone bought the house, someone commissioned this house to be built, and someone lives in that house. And a lot of these really high-end houses, more than one person has bought that. And so I was just thinking, like, why not me? And in a really selfish way, like, I fucking deserve that.
No, I completely agree. One thing my wife and I really love to do is like driving around and looking at really nice houses, like houses that we can definitely not afford right now. But I always, like, the people that live in those are just people.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, they're just doing something different. They've done something different to be where they are. Now, sometimes they're older, sometimes they're not, and, well, you got to start sometime.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of people, at least how I used to think, is that, they did one thing different, like one major thing. They ran into a bunch of money. They, got lucky. But it's not. Like when we're listening to stuff like Andy Frisella, who's one of our favorite, Seth Feroce, Grant Cardone, I mean the list goes on. But they all say the same thing. It's not just about, it is about going and like really having like an actual passion. Like this is what we're passionate about. I like talking about this stuff. I think it's really interesting, and I really want to help people in life, and of course just become successful. But it's all of the little things, right? It's having a schedule, right? Not fucking waking up 20 minutes before you have to go to work and then scrambling to get there. It's making your goals, and this is all stuff that we want to talk about, because one thing that I need to do is actually have a more set schedule. I'm actually pretty anal about stuff like that. Like my morning is just how I am. My morning is like down to the minute, and if I mess up anywhere, then my whole morning it's not thrown off, but then I have to like scramble to get back on it. But
well, it's just like we were saying. It's the little things that we're learning from all of these successful people and putting them into action, actually doing what they say they did to get where they are. And everybody that we follow, we listen to, we try to learn from, none of them have ever said they just got $1 million and were able to do things. They all started very humble.
Yeah.
I think some of them more humble than where we are.
Yeah. But the difference I've been seeing a lot with all the stuff that is out there, just as far as content goes and stuff, like all the people that I really respect are the ones that came from maybe not nothing, but like came from a point where they actually had to work to get where they are. But then if you see all these other people who did get that like quick shot at fame and landed it, like, I don't know, I guess the influencers and stuff, I don't really watch that, but the little bits I've seen, it's so much different than, they act so much different. They seem so much less happy than these guys that have worked their ass off and really put in all the time and effort. Because it's not just getting them money. And that's the thing, is that a lot of these guys that we listen to, they say that, yeah, money's great. Because you can do a lot with money. And like for me, I want to be able to help a lot of people with the money that I can get. But their lives improve. Mm-hmm. It's not just, you know, you own some high-end sports car, but then you're having trouble paying your water bill or something like that. So I think really what we want to do with this is let everyone watch the process so that we can actually show people that it not only is it possible, but show people like how to do it.
I think a really important thing is they're going to see the good things that we do. They're also going to include all the fuck-ups that we have, because there's going to be a lot. In fact, you know, they always say that the master has failed more times than the student has tried.
Yes, you have to be a fool to become a master.
Exactly. So, I don't know, just super excited about doing that.
Yeah. I think another thing that's big for me, I know it's big for you too, is this is something that even if no one watches it, just the thought of it being out there, it holds me accountable. Mm-hmm. It's like at work when, so we actually work at the same place, we're both salesmen. But
yeah, we're shitty.
Well, one of us is. But our boss told me that he's like, I expect at least 10 more sales from you. And holy shit, I basically lived there for the last week or two. Mm-hmm. But that accountability actually got me a lot farther in one of the worst months of the year.
Yeah, I love accountability, and we'll go into more about everything that we do and what we're doing, where we're trying to go. But one thing I did specifically for my future is I hired a coach for bodybuilding. And we'll get into
He's
all
not
that.
just fat.
I am a little fat, though. But I did it mostly because I have the passion. I fucking love it. But I need to be accountable to someone, because unfortunately, you know, I'm just not as good when I'm only accountable to myself. And I know my weaknesses, and I accept my weaknesses, and I did something about that. So the whole accountability thing, and then with this specifically, even if no one really watches it, hopefully someone gets something out of it. And if nothing, hopefully we get something out of it. Hopefully we can keep our word and what we say we're going to do, and be accountable to, you know, everyone.
Yeah. Well, accountability is just my biggest thing. And it's funny, so I'm not really into I come from a pretty kind of dark past where I had a big problem with drugs for a long time. And one thing that they do in the 12-step program, which I'm not really into just because there's a lot to it. I don't like going to meetings and stuff. I don't have time for stuff like that. But one thing they do is they make you, I don't make you, but one big thing is like you kind of have to accept that God or whoever, you know, you're being held accountable to that. I think that's actually one reason why religion can be such a good thing, and why people really like religions, because there's someone they're being held accountable to. That's why a lot of people who are religious, they're very charitable. They may not be. Not everyone who's religious is a good person, right? But it's a good structure to have, and just, you know, knowing that, okay, if I fuck up, then someone's going to be watching, right? Like everyone's always on their best behavior and kind of on show when someone's watching. Mm-hmm. So,
yeah, I mean, being accountable, and for those of you that can be accountable to yourself, fucking awesome. That is the best thing. But the majority of people, unfortunately, just aren't. Recognizing that and doing something about it is probably one of the most important things you can do. Like I said, I recognize that in myself, and that I needed to be accountable, but I wasn't good enough to be accountable to myself, so I did something about it so I could be accountable to somebody else, which has been significantly better. It's been since November, and my improvements have been phenomenal and exponential since then. So it's definitely the right choice.
It's all about just finding the little things that, just every little thing that can kind of push you towards where you want to be. And I mean, it's little things like, for instance, I'm bad at like making my bed in the morning, mainly because I'm up super early and Brooke isn't. Like, she has to, because she's the one that is watching the child all day, so I get that she's, sometimes she needs to sleep in. But one thing that I've noticed too is like little things like that, like making your bed, because then you're starting off your day like right. We were talking about this, where getting up in the morning, like I don't touch my phone. Like I'll bring my phone with me, and like get out of the room so my wife can sleep. And I'll open it up and see just like if there's anything important, right? Like if there's a work message or something I need to get to, sure. If there's like family or something, but if it's not, or if it's just bullshit messages, I just turn it off. I'll turn some music on or something, but that's it. And starting off your day right is going to be the biggest thing for me, because then I'm not, I'm just getting into the day. I'm not just sitting and waiting, like, and procrastinating to start my day.
Well, it's much easier to do what you know you need to do if you start off by doing what you know you need to do. It's actually something we talked about. I just barely started doing better, and I knew it was something that I had to do in order to be better, and was my morning.
Yeah.
So what I actually stopped doing is I'm not charging my phone at night anymore. So when I get up, I have a fast charger. So when I get up, my phone needs to be charged.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
And so I just go plug it in, and then I go to the bathroom, and I got my book right there so that I can read. I'm not distracted by my phone. I'm reading something, I'm learning, I'm doing better, and I'm doing what I said I was going to do. And just that alone has changed drastically, changed everything I've been doing drastically. And I feel better, my momentum's getting better. It's just doing awesome things. And all that I did was I stopped wasting about a good 30 minutes of my morning on my phone.
Dude, when you're on your phone, like, people don't realize how much time they're spending on there. Like, just pulling it up first thing in the morning, I realized that, when I was doing that, I was scrolling through whatever it was. And then all of a sudden 20 minutes are gone. I'm like, oh shit, why? There's 20 minutes out of my workout I could have had. A better workout. So one thing that I'm starting to do in the morning, so my wife actually told me this. So I'm very hard on myself, and I'm trying to do better at not being so like beating myself down. So I'm always like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not as successful as I want to be. And it drives her crazy because she knows where I came from. But for me, that's all behind me. So I'm not even looking at it. I'm just only looking forward. And she basically told me, like, every now and then you need to, like, turn around and see where you came from. Have gratitude for where you are, but still have your goals. So, real quick. So I started praying in the morning, which I'm not the most religious person, but I'm trying to explore that more. But what I do is I pray. So that gives me gratitude. I just pray about what I'm thankful for, and then I pray about asking for guidance for my goals. So it's two things right off the bat. I'm expressing gratitude in the morning. So as soon as I wake up, because for whatever reason, if I'm in a bad mood, it's going to be in the morning. So I'm immediately saying I'm thankful for all of this. I'm so grateful that I have all the things I have, but I'm going to do this. And for whatever reason, that has got me up more than I also do something. I heard Ed Milet, he says he does something cold every morning, so I either try to take a cold shower or splash cold water on my face or I walk outside. But actually, praying and doing the gratitude and the goals, that gets me up faster than ice water on my face. It's weird.
I go to the gym and it's always freezing in the morning, so I
Yeah.
guess that counts. What you're saying though, as far as, and I love the analogy of you're in a car. Mm-hmm. The windshield is a whole lot bigger than your rearview mirror. For a reason, you're going forward, not fucking backwards, but you do need to look behind you every once in a while.
Yeah.
You have to, it's hard, you need to appreciate and be grateful for where you are, but you cannot be complacent with where you are, and I think that's the biggest problem is I know where I've been, I know where I am, and I'm very grateful for that, and I'm proud of myself for where I am now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not satisfied. I can't be satisfied because I need to go so much farther.
Yeah, and that helps when you know where you're going. It's so much easier to get there, and that's something that a long time in my life, I just never knew where I was going. Especially during my whole drug days, all I was doing is just trying to get to the next hour or the next day. But once I was able to clear out all that fog, now it's funny. I was talking to people at work about this. So there's a couple of people, and actually you and I were talking about this with them. It's like, right, do you have any goals? Like, no, just make money. Like, well, how do you expect to make more money if you're making enough right now? You have to know where you're headed, or you're just gonna wander around. It's like, I don't know, like, the car analogy is great, right? Actually, I heard this where I don't know if it was like NASCAR or whatever. I don't know what it was, but if you're making a corner, you start to spin out. Instead of looking ahead of where your car's going, they teach you to look where you want to be, because you'll always get to where you're looking. You'll always find your body just finds a way. Like, okay, I'm going here. I need to turn this car that way. So it's the same thing as with your life. You're like, okay, I'm going to be there. I'm going to live in that house. I'm going to have this much money. I'm going to, I don't know, treat my family this way. If you're always looking at it, everything just kind of follows, right? And actually, that's one thing I've been focusing on a lot is, again, not trying to stay stagnant. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're honestly either progressing or digressing. If you're not moving forward, you are moving backwards. Mm-hmm. Like that's just how life is. You either go up or you go down.
Well, because life's always going forward. So if you're just sitting there content, then everything's going to pass you up, and all of a sudden you're going to look up from your phone, and all of a sudden the world's pass you by, and you're stuck in a 2-bedroom apartment with a girlfriend you hate and a shitty car.
Well, that's not to say you're not going to have downs with the ups. You have to have ups and downs. But is your down better than your previous up?
Yeah.
Are you going up and then down a little bit and then up and then down and you're just higher than you were before? Mm-hmm. Or are you just going all the way down? And the best way, like you said, I've never heard that. I like that. You have to know where you're going, because if you don't know where you're going to wander and you're not going to get anywhere. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't know where you're going, how can you get there?
There's so many good analogies about this. I love analogies. Like, one I think about a lot is, like, if you're hiking and you're going, let's say you're trying to get to a certain point. You're looking up and there's a cliff right there, and if you just keep your head down and you're not looking at like anything around you, you're just gonna kind of walk around. You're gonna end up in trees and bushes and shit. But if you just look up and you just say, okay, I'm trying to get there, and there's the path. The path may take you like around some trees, and it may take you a little bit of time to get up there, but you're gonna get there. It's as long as you're keeping your eye on what you want and really focusing on it. But you're right, like throughout life, I actually think that there's going to be more times that suck than more times that are going to be like really exciting, really happy. Like my son says this all the time. He's in a thing where he's like, that doesn't make me happy. He's 5, so I have to be like a little, like I have to be a little tactical about it. But essentially I want him to understand, well, life's not always being happy. That's not really what life is. You're never just going to be happy all the time. And sometimes when you're having a struggle, the thing that will make you happy is getting out of that. It's not just, clenching your fist and just waiting for it to go away. If you struggle through something and you get to the end, that satisfaction is so much better than just hoping it washes over you and goes away.
No, I agree. My son does almost the exact same thing, except he says, that makes me mad. I'm like, okay, you can be mad, but you still got to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to suck, but you still got to do it. So where are you going? Where are you heading? What's your vision?
So as far as where I want to be, so I've got a pretty, it depends on how far out you want to look. Because my 5 years is pretty set in stone. My 10 years, I got a rough idea. 20 and whatever is just kind of,
yeah, who knows?
But no, so my goal, my big goals right now, So I want to be able to start my own business. Something that is, and not just something that's just going to make me money, because that's not the biggest thing. For a long time I thought, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to make a shit ton of money. It's not really what I want to do. The money will come with it, right? As long as I do something that I actually enjoy and am passionate about. So, as of right now, goals change. I want to get a sober house going. Just because the way I see it is that if I took all of the bad times I had throughout my the entirety of my 20s, if I can use all the stuff I learned there and help better someone's life, then I need to do it. I can't just waste all that pain I went through. So my rough goals and what it means to be successful for me is getting to a point where I am spending the majority of my time helping others and making other people's lives better. Whether that's people that are in a bad place in their life, or just making sure that my wife has the perfect kitchen she wants, or my son has the yard he wants to play in. When then we have another kid, make sure that they have the same room. And one of my biggest things, and what success in my family really means, that when I have another child, and then we'll probably end up having 3 total, I want to make sure that every time I have another child, I am in a position where where my other kid is not losing out, right? If I have another kid and then my son has to lose his playroom, or all of a sudden I can't get him the things that he wants, I don't want his life to suffer or sacrifice because someone else is there. I want to every time just be getting better and better so that I can have all of my family have like a great life. Really, that's it, is making sure that I'm just helping people as much as I can and make a career out of it. That's my big thing.
So,
what about you?
So, I want to be a professional bodybuilder. I am so passionate about bodybuilding, fitness, health, the whole industry. I love it. Mm-hmm. I still don't have my 5-year goals down complete. I have a few of them. The ones I do know for sure have to do with bodybuilding. The Romania Pro is a professional show in Romania, and I want to win that one. Romania is very special to me. I lived a couple years of my life there, spent some really good time there, learned the language, love the people, and it makes me super excited to know that I could go back there and win a show and just be awesome. I love bodybuilding. I love lifting. I think my biggest reason for all of that is I love chasing pain. It's fun for me. Financially, I'm not 100% sure where I want to be, and that's something I'm still trying to figure out specifically. I know how I want to do it. I just don't know exact goals and things like that. I want to have a huge real estate portfolio. I've got a lot of friends that do it. I've got this kid I know back from in Idaho. From what I can see, he owns like all of Idaho Falls. It's pretty freaking crazy. He's got so many apartment buildings there. It's just freaking crazy, and he's only 2 years older than I am.
Yeah.
I obviously starting at it way late, but it's better than never. I'm trying to figure out what is a good, reasonable, unattainable goal to set for myself for that, because I don't know enough about it yet to set a goal, and that's what I'm struggling with. I do know I want to help people too. One thing I really loved about Andy Frisella, I listened to this one podcast once where he prayed and he told God, like, look, I will give more than I get. Something essentially like that.
Yeah.
And he does a lot. I want to do a lot. I have a cousin with Down syndrome. My little brother has autism. I used to work with people with special needs. There's a lot of things that I want to do for those people, and money is a great catalyst to help. And so that's what I want to do as well. I want to help. I've been through a lot, and I feel like I could have used a lot more help than I got, and I just want to be that person that's there for those people that feel like there's no one that's there for them.
Yeah. It's funny because we're calling our podcast Not Broke, Not Rich. And then, you know, as we were talking about, we like it because we don't want to, we'll never be broke again, and we'll never be too fucking rich. It sounds like all we're after is money, but it's what we can actually do with the money.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the biggest thing is that.
Well, they say money's the root of all evil, and I don't believe that. I think money brings out who you actually are. You give bad people money, they'll do bad things with it. You give good people money, they'll do good things with it.
Isn't that a misquote from the Bible? I thought it was something, either a mistranslation or a misquote. It's not like money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people that love money are typically people that do bad things with money.
Yeah, like my dream car is a fucking Rolls Royce, and I'm gonna get that car.
I want to have nice things. I want a big house. I want nice fucking cars, but I want to do good things too. I mean, I worked for it. I fucking deserve it.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's people out there that are just less fortunate than me. I know I can do these things, and I know I need to do those things because I believe full-heartedly that everything you know you can do, God has told you can do, and if He tells you can do it, then you can fucking do it.
But the thing is, what you said is that you need to do it. That's the key. Is that you need to do it. If you there's something that you're passionate about, like I think that everyone has some sort of purpose here. So you've watched me for the past 3 years. I have gone off on so many different tangents and directions of like, okay, I want to go do this. I want to go start this business. And every time I try, I just keep hitting walls because I'll go down one vein and then I just get like stuck. Like, okay, I don't want to actually do this. But as soon as I started thinking about like this podcast and actually talking about the things I'm passionate about and allowing people to see that, and then also being able to help others just get better and become better people and learning from my mistakes. Like, live vicariously through me. You don't need to make the same mistakes that I did. You can actually just be like, okay, yeah, I saw this guy Tanner. Probably shouldn't do drugs because that'll mess your life up.
Although, it is the drugs that brought you here, so just saying.
Yes, and I've told my wife that. It's funny, she hates that when I'm like, actually, it was drugs that allowed me to meet you, so we should probably be thankful to the drugs. Mm-hmm. She hates that so
much. Look, he made the mistakes so you don't have to.
They're big mistakes. That's actually something that, while we're doing this, is more of just a kind of a tangent. I will be talking a lot about drugs. I'll probably try to keep it to a minimum, but there will be a lot, because that was 6 full years of my life. No stopping or anything, and it was the thing that put me in the position I'm at. And I'll be doing it not to glorify it, but to truly express that it is. I'm not gonna be the guy that says all drugs are bad, right? But most of them are, especially the ones that I were doing. Like, it will.
Most of them are really bad, but not all.
Yeah. No, I mean there's some that are good, but again, I'm not promote that because I don't do drugs anymore. Like, I don't even do the light ones, like smoke weed. It's just I don't have a problem with it. It's just that they messed my life. They took too much time away from me. I spent too much time doing that. So my point is that I don't want to glorify things like that, and this will probably come with a lot of things that we talk about. But it's not glorification of it. It is truly being, I did this. It's not a good idea. Please don't do those things.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing. That's what I really hope to do with this whole podcast, and like the whole thing is, I want to make mistakes so people can see that people make mistakes as they're getting rich. Like, if you hit a wall, sometimes you either got to figure out how to go through the wall, climb over the wall, go around the wall, or figure out if it's a wall that you actually want to get through. Like you were saying, like there's sometimes I've tried things and it just wasn't for me, but I tried it. I did it, but I didn't want to do it anymore, and that's fine. Figure something else out. Like, you have to love what you're doing, because it's, in order to get to the level we want to get to, it's going to be fucking hard.
You have to have you have to have passion for it.
It's the problem with people with. It's good now.
No. Your eyes are better than mine, I guess.
I'm just better than you.
No, you're not. It's just that your eyes can. Yeah, I'm convinced everyone else's color might not be.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does.
That we can see colors you can't?
No, I just see the real colors.
No.
Yeah.
If you see less, how does that make you...
How do you know I see less? I just see the real colors. Your eyes are just fucked up and they're...
Why? Because I can see more? More detail?
So actually, I'm convinced I can see so many colors that they just all blur together.
Are you retarded? Is it recording?
Yeah. Speaking of fucking up, I just realized that our camera has a maximum amount of time it records. I'm gonna have to figure out how to change that. But
anyways, I was saying as far as making mistakes. So I actually heard a story once. I love the story because of what it represents. So this guy and his son were out in the middle of nowhere following these trails in their truck, and they forgot where they'd come from. And so the dad said to the son, like, hey, why don't you just say a prayer and you pick where we go. So the kid says a prayer and says, let's go this way. And so they head down and it's a dead end. And then the son asks the dad a question. He's like, well, why would God let us come down this way then? And the dad said, well, sometimes we need to go down certain ways because we need to learn things along the way that we have to use down the road. So I don't think that anything you pursue and decide not to pursue after you give it an honest effort is in vain, because you definitely learned something from it, you definitely gained something from it, but it wasn't the road you needed to keep going down.
yeah.
Unless it, well, that kind of contradicts everything I just said, but it might be. If it is the road you need to go down, then find another way.
Well, so I think what I take from that story is action. You have to actually do something. Like, my biggest problem is that I overthink things, and paralysis by analysis. That's my problem, and that's why we've talked about this so much. That's why we're great together, because
I don't think things through at all.
we're so different, and you drive me fucking crazy sometimes. But because everything for me has to be perfect. Everything has to be like straight lines. And
hey, you took like 10 minutes trying to set up the camera. I'm like, you just fucking... It looks great. What do you mean it looks great?
Our camera's actually on books. The back one's a little high. I don't like it. But my point is that it's action. Like, do something. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Just do something. Because as you start making mistakes, you'll learn. And you're not going to learn if you're just sitting there doing nothing. And I see that with so many people. And like, the majority of people that I talk to, we talk to a lot of people in our line of work. A lot of customers we're talking people who don't have jobs, which I don't know why they're there in the first place. Yeah, and then people who can buy our business if they really wanted to. And a lot of them, like when you talk to them, they don't seem to, especially when they're talking about their work or something, it's always, yeah, I'm just kind of here and it's fine, and I've been at the same place for 23 years and I'm waiting for retirement. I kind of wish I would have done something different with my life, but I'm going to retire and then I can live off a small little wage for the rest of my life. Yeah, I know, it drives me crazy, and I always just want to like grab me and be like, you don't have to wait, you can just do something different. Like, just take some action in your life. Like, it's your life. Yeah. And one of my favorite things is when, and this is how I get through a lot of my own life, is it's my life, and I'm the hero of my life. If my life is a book, one, I'm writing the fucking thing, and two, I'm the protagonist. I'm the main hero in that story, and if you like think about your life like that, again, holding yourself accountable, like, don't live your life as if you're in someone else's story, man.
Dude, I had a thought yesterday, and I don't think I talked to you about it. I loved it. So, I know we've talked about God a little bit. Mm-hmm. You and I both believe in God. Mm-hmm. I'm very religious. You're kind of not really. But here's my thoughts on it. So we believe in an afterlife, whatever it is. However, let's say God...
That's something that we're going to disagree on, I think, but anyway.
It's fine. Well, fuck you.
The type of afterlife, motherfucker.
I got things to say! Let's say there is no God.
Okay.
So this is it. There's nothing after.
Did talk about this, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there's nothing before, you're just fucking here, and there's nothing after. I feel like that would make this life even more precious. Like, if you're wasting something and you don't think there's anything after, what the fuck are you doing?
You're just wasting the only shot you have.
Yeah!
But the thing is that even if you are religious, like, either way you look at it, that's what drives me crazy, is that, like, no matter, and maybe this is what differentiates us a little bit from other people, just like we just happen to come across these thoughts. It's like, no matter what you're doing, there is motivation for you to do something. Yes. If you think that you're going to die and then there's nothing left, well then make the best life you can, so that even if you just want to have fun the rest of your whole life, like, fine, whatever. Or do you want to make sure that when you die, the people after are in a better position, right? Got me some. So make it a little loud. But yeah, I mean, but even if you do believe in some sort of afterlife, like, you have a shot at this life. The position that you're in, you only have one shot at it. And that's actually one of the big reasons why I've wanted to do this, is because I only have one shot to make a difference in people's lives. And this is something that I'm passionate about. Helping others and making my life better. This is the first thing that, well, not the first thing, but this is one of those things where I haven't found a wall to hit yet. Thinking about this, I get so excited. And then my other projects that aren't really going to be out in the open, because I think it's more about the people I'm going to try to help than be out in the open. But this is something that I'm passionate about.
Well, yeah, because our biggest reason for even wanting to do this is to help people. Mm-hmm. So we want to be successful. There's a lot of good things about wanting to do this. But again, I want to be able to make the mistakes so people don't have to. I want to be able to show everybody the whole fucking process, all the way through. The good, the bad, the mediocre, whatever. Just everything, so that people can look and see and then make better decisions.
Yeah. Because if all we do is just help, like, one person, then that's enough for me.
Yeah. And then along kind of those lines, like, as far as success itself, your success should be different than mine. Yours is different than mine. Mm-hmm. Mine's different. Like, they should be personal, the way you look at what success is. Because if, for example, I've got this really good friend. His dad worked at FedEx his whole life. He did a really good job there. He always got his route done early so he could go home and see his family. And, he's on retirement now. That guy is successful, not in my book, but in his, mm-hmm. because he worked real hard for his family, he provided for his family, he loved his family, and spent as much time with his family as he could.
Yeah, that's what
and he was
wanted.
Happy.
Yep.
That's what's important, and I think that's what the success you're seeking should make you happy.
Yes. Yeah, because, are you really successful if you get to the end of your life and you realize, you have all of these things around you, or even the opposite, right? All you did was just have fun, like the route I could have gone down. I could have just always been high or something my entire life. And then I would have got to a point, luckily I got to that point and I recognized it very early, but you get to a point where
6 years is early, but whatever.
Luckily, it's hard to remember most of that, so it doesn't seem like that long. But
it's like a dream.
Yeah, it is. But when you get to that point at the end of your life, you're on your deathbed, right, or whatever, and you realize, well, I spent my entire life just making money, but I have nothing to show for it, or I spent my entire life just trying to be pleasurable and just happy.
Well, it's kind of like the whole story about Scrooge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Like, he was dying alone and nobody cared.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not okay either. Like, it's okay to be rich. It's okay to have a lot of things, but I think it's more important that you be happy. Now, along those lines, I know for me to be happy, I have to keep trying to get better. And it has nothing to do with acquiring money, but that's one way I can quantify getting better. Is I can
it's
keep
a measurement.
It's
It's
a
a
measurement.
number.
It's money is only a catalyst. It's a number, something that I can track to
Yep.
make sure that I'm doing more, doing better. Now, there's other things in my life that I do as well, but that's just one of them, and it's a tool. That's all that it is.
It's one of the easiest ones to track too.
It's when everybody uses, so which makes it super easy.
Wait, real quick. So I was listening to Tony Robbins the other day, and he was. I can send you the video because I think you should listen to it. It's like a 5-minute video or something. But he's talking about his dad, and just this one part of it I want to touch on because he was saying that. So a bunch of stuff happened with his. I don't know if you know his story with all that, but he's talking about seeing his dad. He said his dad was on his deathbed. And he said, from what I remember, like none of his family came because his dad just walked out on him. But Tony went and saw his dad, and he was dying of connective tissue disease. There's a word for it. I don't know what it is. And what Tony says his dad said is one of the most profound things I've ever heard. He said, I'll try to be as verbatim as I can, but I can't quite remember. It was something to the effect of, I was a bastard my entire life, and I never connected with anyone. And look what I'm dying from.
Fucking
whoa! And that's the thing, is that I don't want to be at the end of my life and be like, I live my life wrong.
Oh man, I don't think anything scare. Well, there's a few things that scare me more, but it is up there, and that scares me so much. Is being on my deathbed and knowing that I didn't do what I wanted to do or could have done.
What your potential? You didn't meet your potential.
That'd be fucking awful.
Dude, I think about that so much, dude. So when I go to sleep at night, I'm not joking when I say sometimes I have to have my headphone in and listening to something, because if I don't, I'm not distracting myself, which I shouldn't be when I'm going to bed, but I do it because I lay there and I think, fuck, I'm running out of time. I want to do this, I want to do that, and then I end up just keeping myself up, and then I have a harder time.
It's hard too, because if you rush yourself, you also won't do it.
I know. That's why I do that. It's okay, I gotta calm down. I'll listen to some thing I don't really care about and fall asleep.
Gary Vee said this, and I love it. People overestimate what they can do in the short term and underestimate what they can do in the long term.
Yeah, I heard him say that too, and I started thinking about it, and I was doing that for a while. That's why I kept my immediate goals the same, but I upped my larger
That's
goals.
why, no matter how big a brick house is, it's built literally brick by brick.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of it, you got a huge fucking house.
Yeah.
So,
it's a huge fucking house. Probably not that big. I used to want like a giant mansion and stuff, but I think that having something that gives me just plenty of space.
Yeah,
something that would fit my giant Atlas statue in.
Right, dude, actually, my grandpa's house would be perfect for that, because the front door opens this long corridor, and there's like a spot off to the side where the staircase goes. You just have it right there, just a big Atlas statue. Yeah, I think his house is pretty close to about what I think it's like 6,000-7,000 square feet, something like that. I think that's like perfect. I don't think I need more. I'd rather have a lot of land around it.
Yeah, me too. I want it like where my mom lives. I want a house a little bit big. Do you remember how big that house was?
Yeah.
I don't know if you went downstairs, but I want something a little bit bigger than that, and then but on like in that sort of area, like on the mountain.
I just want to wake up and go outside and not see my neighbors.
Oh God, dude, that is the big for me.
Dude,
I'm already such a like recluse. Well, not really, but yeah.
Well, here's my reason for it. And it's actually really funny. My wife hates it, but I want to have like a patio upstairs, like leads from my bedroom, where I can just go out and be naked.
Yeah, I think it'd be
But if there's neighbors around, I can't really do that. So
I just want enough land in the woods or in the mountains where I can go and just like literally just walk out and get away from. It sounds bad, but get away from like my wife and kid. It's not a bad thing. I love being around them, but I'm the type of person that I need like, okay, fuck, I just need like an hour to just be by myself, and I'd love to be able to take my dog and just walk for like a couple hours and just walk around my property and chop some wood or something. You know, like chopping wood?
No.
Why?
Because I'm lazy.
I think it's actually kind of therapeutic. That's like when I was like polishing my boots. I actually really enjoyed that. It was just mindless. And I just listened to music and polished all my boots.
I just work out a lot.
Yeah, well, I work out in the morning too.
And my workouts are different than yours.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Work out at like 3 in the afternoon?
No, just go do cardio.
Okay. Dude, chopping wood could be cardio.
But it's, dude, I like my recumbent bike. I get to sit down and do cardio.
Oh, you are so lazy.
It's the laziest way to do cardio, but you can still get your heart rate up. You can still have a good cardio session, but you're sitting down. So, like, you know.
Well, I like doing it. I like putting my weight vest on and walking around the block.
But I'm already fat.
I know.
Just walking is hard for me. That's why I take the elevator at work.
Dude, it's so funny because you and I are so different. It's insane.
It's fun. All right, well, real quick, let's end on, why are you doing it? Who are you doing it for?
I'm doing it for, so as selfish as it sounds, right? I'm doing it for myself.
Well, it has to start there. At least it should, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, again, something that I learned, and a lot of the stuff that I picked up was in rehab. Mainly because everyone around you was just in the shittiest position, and I did a lot of thinking there. Most of the stuff I didn't really like, but there was a few things. And the thing is that you can't help anyone without helping yourself.
Well, that's what I tell Lindsay all the time. Like, you know, a guide, for example, if you go out and you get a guide at like the Amazon, that dude has to know everything about where you're going.
Yes.
You cannot help other people. You cannot be a guide unless you've already been there, already done it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's...
Yes.
You have... The same thing like if you're in an airplane, the thing pops down. You have to put yours on first before you help other people. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just... You have to start with yourself, and it's not selfish.
Yes.
You can be selfish if you do it too much.
If you're only focusing on yourself.
Yes.
But like what I've noticed that in my life is that when I'm taking care of myself, my family benefits. Mm-hmm. Because the energy in the house changes, right? Like in my house, I'm the head of the household. And when I am motivated...
Misogynist.
When I'm excited and I'm up working out and I'm like, all right, we're gonna go do something. We're gonna clean the house or whatever. Then all of a sudden the energy in the house changes. But if I get up and I am dragging ass and I'm like, I don't want to do it today. I don't feel good. Then all of a sudden everyone's like, yeah, no, I feel the same way and I don't want to. But so first of all, myself. That should just be a given. I think you have to have a strong foundation before you can lift anyone else up. And then I am doing it for my wife and my son, or my stepson, in case his dad ever watches. But
I doubt that, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. But them. So those three people, myself, my stepson, and my wife. Those are the immediate people, and I will always take care of us three first. And if I have another little person, then we'll put them in there as well. But always them first. That's who I'm doing it for. That's my main motivation. And then with that foundation, I can go and help other people that are watching and hopefully enjoying it. And again, even if I just make my family better and I help one other person out there, then fine. It was worth it because then they can help more people and then it just snowballs, right? But that's what I'm doing it for. I'm doing it because not only do I believe that I know that I deserve better things and I deserve to be successful, but my wife, who's amazing, and my son, they all deserve those things too.
Cool. Mine pretty much exactly the same. You know, I'm doing it for me. We'll get into past, later, but
just a real long podcast.
Yeah, just real quick. I didn't have the greatest childhood. I was adopted twice. The first family didn't want a redhead. I'm just kidding. That's not how it
I don't
happened.
blame them.
But I wouldn't blame them if that's how it did happen. I love that joke. My wife hates that joke. It's so funny. People never know how to react to that. They're like, what? I'm like, no,
People
it's
don't
fine.
know how
It's
to
fine.
react.
I was adopted twice, but that's not why.
Dude, it's so funny when you and I get together and we're going back and forth, and you're giving me shit for being a drug addict, and I'm giving you shit for being adopted, and people around are like, whoa.
I love how uncomfortable we make people feel. It is so odd. Like, I feel like that makes us even meaner to each other, and it's just so much better.
Do you remember that guy at work said when he walked by, he's like, you guys were the weirdest duo I've ever seen.
Dude, what happened the other day? Something about Christmas. They asked about like Christmas. I was like, no, because my dad was never there.
No, it was are you talking about in the meeting?
No. This was like on the showroom floor. I don't know if you were there, but it was so funny because it was late at night. There wasn't very many people, and I just yelled it. And OZ's customer just like started dying. It was so. It was like, I hate Christmas because my dad was never there. It was pretty funny, but like for real, I didn't have the greatest childhood. I always look back at the little Nick, you know, the little ginger kid, and I feel like it's probably, I mean, if you have a psychologist look into it, it's probably the reason why I want to be a bodybuilder. I just want to be fucking massive, just because I want to be able to protect everybody. And I think the biggest thing is I'm so insecure about how I was as a child that I had no power. I couldn't help everything that was happening to me. It's just, I was weak, and I don't want to be weak anymore. I just want to be the strongest, biggest person ever, basically. And so, I'm doing it for little Nick, and for me, and for future Nick.
Yeah.
I've got a wife. She is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and honestly, I tell her this all the time. I think the reason I went through so much was so that I could appreciate her even more. She's like a reward. I love her, and I want to prove to her that she made the right choice when she said yes, when she married me. I have to prove that she made the right choice.
It's like what I promised Brooke, my vows, where what did I say exactly? Promise to give her everything that she needs and then everything that she wants.
I think so highly of my wife, and I just have to prove that she made the right choice. It has to happen. And then for my kids, because of my childhood, I have to be able to give them what I didn't have.
The dad.
To start, you know, like I had one later, but like I said, we'll get into that. They're never gonna know the pain of, hey, why is dad not talking to me? Why doesn't my dad ever call? Why doesn't my dad ever write me? They're never going to know that, because I will be there every single fucking day. Whether it's over the phone, I mean, I guess, you know, FaceTime exists now, which is super nice. So when I'm not at home, I can say, hey, what's up? Every day. Doesn't matter. I don't care what it is. Every single day they will be able to talk to their dad. Also, I want to prove that they ended up in a good family. I want to be able to prove to them that they can do whatever they want. I don't care if they don't want to do the things that I want. In fact, I prefer they don't want to be bodybuilders. Honestly, it's not the greatest thing. But it's what I want. But I want to prove to them that they can do whatever they want to do, and whatever that is. But that they can do it, even if it's hard. I did it. I know they can do it.
It's really
no, real quick. I want to help other people. Like, I didn't have the worst childhood. Like, my dad never raped me. You know, it wasn't great. He wasn't nice. So he was abusive, but not super abusive. But there's people that have gone through worse. People that have gone through basically what I did. And I want to prove to them, too, that they can win. Now, I'm not letting what happened to me affect me negatively. I'm going to use it, use all the negative emotions I have about it positively. Have a positive influence on people that hopefully went, like, if they did go through worse than me, I especially want them to win. Because if people did worse things to them than what happened to me, they fucking need to win.
I love a good
Fuck
comeback
the rest
story.
of them. Yeah.
Comeback stories are the best. It's really interesting, though, that we'll wrap up here because we've been going for an hour. It is really interesting that, and maybe this is why you and I are more passionate about this than other people. Because we both had two big things that happened to us that would break a lot of other people. And where people would take it and, for their entire life. Like, I could be, like, I could go to classes every, twice a week and be like, my life is shit because I got addicted to drugs. Or you could be like, I was adopted twice and my parents were never there and I had to go through that. And you could just take that victim mentality. And as bad as it is in today's day and age, that will get you pretty far.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we've got to this point where being a victim is a good thing, which it's not. It's not a good thing to be a victim. It's what you want to do is that if you feel like you're becoming a victim or you see yourself as a victim, you should be able to take that. And like I said before, don't be the victim in your own story. That's pathetic. Be the hero of your own story and get as far away from being a victim as possible. Take control of your life because it's the only thing you can control. It's the only thing that you truly own, and it's the only thing that you can truly control.
And on top of that, it doesn't matter where you are right now. Tanner was in a very, very bad spot. And he has come a long way. Honestly, from where you've come, I personally think it's way farther than what I've done. Now, obviously,
it's
both
different.
It's different, I know. But what I'm saying, though, is, physically, you were in a very, very low spot. Mentally, you were in a very, very low spot. But, you didn't let that fucking victimize you. You grabbed life by the nuts and you did it.
Yeah. And the thing is, it can happen fast. I am 4 years, let's say. I don't look behind me too much. I can't remember the exact date, but I'm about 4 years clean.
Well, how long have you been with Brooke?
3.5 years. So yeah, about 3.5 years, almost 4. Because I think I checked myself into rehab right after my birthday. So later this year will be 4 years. But I went from being this far from being homeless. That's the thing. There, a lot of people had it worse than me. They were homeless. Luckily, I was just somehow able to work. But I was this close to being homeless. I weighed 110 pounds. And the day I checked myself into rehab, well, I was actually so messed up I had to go through a whole week of detox. But I was at work the day I checked myself in, and I worked at this store, and I was trying to count money for the tills, or get money for the till. I don't even remember, and I couldn't count past 11. I was so messed up. I'm just like 1, 2, 3, and it gets like 11. But 11, I'd start over. I started over like 3 times, and then finally I was just like, I'm fucking done. Like, this is not who I am. This is not who I should be. I have to make a change. So I called my boss. I'm like, she didn't know anything was going on. I'm like, I'm going to rehab. She's like, okay. Like,
I can't count past 11.
I'm trying so hard, I can't do it.
What's after 11?
And she's just like, okay. I'm like, you're going to find someone else. I'm leaving right now. And just hung up. And I just left, and I went, checked myself into, tried to just get into rehab, but then they're like, no, you want to detox first, because you may die. Okay. And yeah, but the point is that 3.5 years later, I'm actually, like, right now, I could just do what I'm doing right now, and I could be well off.
Yeah, so the thing is, you could stop, or I don't know, not really stop, but like just continue kind of what you're doing specifically right now. Mm-hmm. You'd be a success story. But that wouldn't be good enough for you, obviously. No,
and that's the thing, is that, again, not broke, because we'll never be broke again, and not rich, because we'll never be too fucking rich, because you can't stop. You can't give. Again, we got cut off because we don't know what we're doing.
Well, you can always just like cut and add it.
Yeah, but I cut off in like halfway, like through like my words. Oh yeah, I don't have a finger too. There's another thing we can talk about.
Yeah, we'll get there.
But yeah, dude, I mean, I think this is good. So, watch out for more.
If you made it this far, thank you. That's cool.
Yeah, bear with us because this is gonna be a big learning curve. But again, it's like we said, it's watching people fuck up and make mistakes because too often we see the glorified. Everything online is glorified now.
Everything, and that's what this
It's
has
fake.
to be surreal. That's not what I was going for. Super real.
Super real.
We're just gonna give it to you straight, and then the good, the bad, and the in between. It's just gonna be what it is. We're gonna make mistakes. We'll talk about it. We're gonna do good things. We'll talk about it, and then we'll just talk about random shit along the way too.
Yeah.
So thank you. Appreciate it.
Not broke, not rich. So never be broke again. Never be too fucking rich.
Get her done.